they say all men are created equal. Shot! Master! I'll pull out the Glock! Full of suffering, succotash, son!
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle. And today we're going to be reviewing Dynamite again, and it's the fallout from Revolution. So yeah, definitely go back and listen to our Revolution review if you haven't already. That was a lot of fun and it was a really good show, apart from the ending. So there's a whole lot of discourse surrounding the world title scene, so I was really interested to see how we would follow up on that this week. But before we get into that, we do have one viewer question to answer, which is far more exciting than all of this, I believe. And someone asked, what's our go-to snack for pay-per-views? And I love this question. I'm gonna let you go first, Estelle.
Yeah, so I don't know, 'cause by the time I usually watch them live, so it's like 1 a.m. So I'm the type of person who will buy lots of snacks, like I did last time, and I just ate them before it even fucking began. So that was great. But the essential, it's not quite a snack, but the White Monster, which I've got today, I cannot do without it, especially when I'm staying up incredibly late and you know, the sleepy girl allegations hit. Although it's weird, Monster and caffeine with me. Sometimes it'll make me more tired because like the ADHD, but sometimes it hits. I'm not even sure if it even works, but I just need it as like moral support.
Effect.
Yeah, when it gets like 4 a.m, you need that shit.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah, on the topic of drinks, Listen, the sleepy girl allegations on me, I hit so hard I don't even deny them. I just I'm guilty. I go to sleep, I really struggle to stay awake. I really do.
Yeah.
So I don't often stay up late to watch pay-per-view, but if I do, and if I have done in the past, usually for like WrestleMania or I can't remember. I feel like there was one AEW one that we specifically watched together live.
Collision.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't mean that.
Because you came over on a Saturday. Well,
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't remember us watching an AEW pay-per-view live. I do remember watching like Full Gear 2021, Revolution.
Maybe that's what
21.
I'm thinking of, and we did.
But
watch
we
it the
didn't
next
watch
day.
them live. We watched them the next day.
Ah, right.
100%.
That's maybe what I'm getting mixed up with. But anyway, if I do have to rely on the sugary drinks and snacks to get me through. I'm not really like a big caffeine girl because let's not get into detail. It gives me stomachache. So like a Lucozade, like a pink Lucozade, and some really sugary, sour sweets.
Maybe that's what I need. Because
I
that
love
sounds
those.
really good with the White Monster, like some Tang Fastics or something. That would slap.
Something like really sour that like burns your tongue off. Oh, speaking of burning my tongue off, salt and vinegar Pringles. Go to
They're
pay-per-view
elite.
snack. And you just got to
I want
time
to know.
them like tactically so that the sugar high hits you at the right time, and then you move on to a salty snack afterwards. You got that balance between the two. Sometimes some nachos as well.
Yeah, nachos. I
used
forgot
to
about nachos.
When I was like 14, I used to have this little tradition with myself, which was I'd make myself some nachos before WrestleMania started and have some sweet popcorn. That was like my two. You got to balance the sweet and savoury. That's the important thing.
You plan out.
Yeah.
You've got like, wow, and you had the nachos as well at freaking All In.
Yeah.
Full circle
Classic
moment.
wrestling snack.
But yeah, I want to know what everyone else's are so I can like steal people's ideas.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what's your go-to snack for either a pay-per-view or like going to a wrestling show, because that is also different. Like actually being at a wrestling show.
We had the hot girl crisp snack.
Yeah, and they again salt and vinegar, the best flavour. So anyway, snack discourse, very important. But what other discourse is important? World title discourse. Kenny Omega discourse, baby.
Kenny Omega opened the show discourse with Battle Cry, which also sounded incredibly bass boosted and it sounded so good. But I don't know if that's just because we haven't heard it in so long. But it sounded like they'd amped that bass all the way up and the crowd
Yeah.
reaction. And I'm so glad that he's hopefully going to come out to that at least on weekly show. I think for like the pay-per-view, the other one, I really like the other theme. I think it's cool, especially when the Kenny chants come in. I think it's epic. But I think save that for like the pay-per-views. Let's keep Battle Cry for like weekly television, and yeah, just great to see him come out to start the show.
Yeah, it was so nice to see him, and especially like he really took his time to give high fives to everyone and greet all the fans in the front row. It was very heartwarming.
Yeah, he put over Takeshita, so he picked up the belt from
Yeah.
him, which was nice, and talked about the Dynasty Eliminator tournament, which will be the international belt at Dynasty. Says whoever has it needs to call themselves the best on the planet. So yeah, cool. I like that. I like at least instantly we've got something planned for the belt. We're doing the tournament, and the people in the tournament are pretty cool. The brackets are pretty cool. It's not like entirely predictable, although I do. My gut feels like it's gonna have to be Ricochet.
Yeah, same. I was thinking the exact same thing. We just look
But,
at that
you
list
know-
of people, that's the one that you pull out, isn't it, automatically? I mean, even Orange Cassidy being in it, that's still the name that you pick out.
Yeah, I like how he's already from holding the belt, and not that Takeshi didn't, but already from holding the belt, like day one, he's already putting prestige on it.
Yeah.
People are gunning for it. Yeah, but doing something with the belt, I like it. What's not to like? He walked down, as you said, high fiving the crowd again, very wholesome. Had a little small stare down with the ops because obviously Shibata is going to be in the brackets. So, like I say, what's the realism of Shibata winning the whole thing? Not that much, but it's still a nice little wrinkle.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I really like this as well because it just reminded me of like the prestige of that belt actually. Again, like what you said, I'm not saying that Takeshita wasn't a good champion or anything, but like just straight away in this reign, it's been given a lot of importance, and we've got like scope in the future to see where this is going, and you're invested in this tournament. So yeah, that was really good, and it made me realize I had this. I don't know if this is going to sound really dumb, but I had this realization: the international title, right? International, right? That means the world.
Following along, I'm with you.
The world title, that's the same. International world, like that's the same. That's just the same thing, just saying it in a different way.
It's
the same
international
scale.
love, baby.
Yeah.
Put it down like Kenny Omega.
So basically,
I
Mr.
never
Worldwide
sleep.
Pitbull is the next champion.
Damn bucket.
But I just was like, they're the same. That's the same. That means the same thing. So they should be as important as each other. I don't know. That was just
All that like it should be fought across like. So right, to your
Yes,
point,
that.
when I was younger, I used to think that I used to get so confused because like the world heavyweight belt, I thought it meant like you had to be in a heavyweight class.
Yeah.
And I thought the intercontinental you had to be from abroad, and I thought the USA championship you had to be from
Yeah.
America, and it used
Yeah.
to fry my brain.
Yeah, well, it makes no sense, does it? Like, what do title names even mean? It's confusing. It's confusing to
I
me
just have
today.
crazy title names. I'd be like the baller title, the baddie,
The Vibes Championship.
the
This was like the
skibbity
best
belt.
one, is it?
I just want to say as a quick overview for this show as a whole, because I wrote this note down now. This show had a lot of random people, well, not random, but just follow along with me on this. This
I'm
isn't a dig,
following.
isn't it? It had a lot of people that we hadn't seen for a while, a lot of the collisioners, baby.
Yeah.
A lot of luchadors, and
Yeah.
it kind of put to rest a lot of the stories from Dynasty. I think if this episode would be any episode between now and Dynasty, I would have been pissed. But I really liked this episode because it felt like a clean slate, and I didn't mind it, and in fact I liked it. All these new people and people that we haven't seen for a while, they're not in stories, and normally I'd be like, why are these people here? But I don't know if I'm just in a favourable mood today. But I was just like, do you know what? It's just really nice to sit down and watch a variety of wrestling and different people and people that you don't normally get to see. And maybe it's because like the show's been so consistent, it was like, oh, this is a nice little change. And
Yeah, like
for the
fresh.
first show back from Revolution, I was like happy about that. And maybe as well because like it was like minimal Death Rider stuff, and normally the Death Rider stuff weaves all the way through it. So I think it was just nice to just watch good wrestling for a week. That was my takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, I think in some aspects, I didn't like that because I was like, oh, don't care, not interested. But at the same time, in hindsight, having like literally finished it like 10 minutes ago, I don't feel fatigued after watching it. It was just
No.
nice to take a breather and just watch something different. And like what you said about it being a clean slate, I think is a really good point as well. Yeah, it was just nice, just a bit chill. But, having said that, there was still some quite big story points going on as well. It was almost like we were drawing a line under some things while continuing others, but not in such a dramatic fashion that it was like, well, like overwhelming. Um, I wrote down that this episode had like an after party sort of vibe. So you have the go
Yeah.
home show that's like pre, you have the pay-per-view that's going out, and then this one is like the afters. There's like what you said about random
The
people. There's a lot of
afters.
random people everywhere. You don't know
Yeah,
them.
it's like you're in a kitchen with the afters. Someone's playing Pitbull, why not? And bloody Drillistico's the hologram. And you're like, do you know what? We're at the afters, so fair enough. If
Yeah,
they
it's
want to
like
come and join
anything
the party,
goes.
fair enough.
Anything goes at the afters. There's no rules. And like anything
I like that.
afters, there was a speedball. So
Yeah. Uh, but what I didn't like was so the ops come down and there was a trio squash match which I wasn't mad
hmm,
about. This is why I wrote the note. I wasn't mad that it was a squash match because it's like a clean slate. It's the one after the pay-per-view. It's like, okay, you want to reintroduce these people. I get tired when it's a squash match week after week after week, or it's a
yeah,
squash match before the pay-per-view and it's a random person who's squashing someone and then they don't even have an angle. So why do I need to see this? But
yeah,
this didn't piss me off. But what pissed me off was they put them over as a trio, and the comms brought up the trios title, and I just thought, for God's sake, let it go, let it go. Why? Why are we doing this? I'm over the trios title. I said before, a proposition the Death Riders should annihilate it, and I thought they're trying to fade it out of existence or something. But then the fact that comms brought it up, I was like, oh, for fuck's
here
sake.
we go again. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time they were defended. Yeah, I don't. But also, it's like you either get rid of it or you try and revive it and make it something good, right? I guess that's what we're trying to do here.
The thing
But
is, though,
I think you're
the
right. It needs
tag
to
division
go.
is so weak right now. That
Mhm.
should be your sole focus. I liked the trios belts when AW first started. The tag division in early AW was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Honestly, it was the best part about it, and it was
yeah.
just amazing. And there was a lot more trios teams. You had Jurassic Express, you had SCU, the Elite, and the belts were built for the Elite, basically, just to have something to play around with. Which fair enough, and it worked. Now there isn't hardly any trios teams. If they are, they're
Mm,
just thrown together. It's not like that's their identity. They're a unit.
mm,
I think if the tag division was absolutely thriving and teaming, hell yeah, spill some of those guys over and bolster up the trios. But when the tag and the trios are weak, you've got to evaluate and just focus on one. And do you know what? If you want to
mm.
revive the trios later on down the road, be my guest. Do that. But
Yeah,
it's too much. It's too much on his plate. He can't do it.
yeah. I think that's valid because it is so hard, isn't it? Like to I mean, and obviously they're different, but essentially you've got two tag belts. It's how do you make the distinction between the two? How do you make them two separate divisions, or do you? Or is it just one and the same? It's it's just challenging when, like you said, you don't have the depth in the division that you used to. Or like, just viable contenders for them. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Death Riders like hoarding them. That kind of fits their gimmick, doesn't it? Just hoarding some belts and not defending them, not showing them off. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
yeah,
that's
I
fair
don't.
enough. But Tony Khan should be in kayfabe. That makes sense. But also in kayfabe, Tony Khan should be forcing him to defend him,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
should be
that's
like, "No,
true.
I don't want to fight." Like that's what should be happening.
That's true. They do feel like an afterthought at the moment, for sure. I mean, they've definitely been an afterthought for me.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind if they did like some intergender trios like Lucha
Yeah.
Underground. I really enjoyed that. And there's a few women that are affiliated. I mean, I know Conglomerate's practically dead, but Willow in that. Uh, oh my
That
God,
would be
Julia
so much fun.
Hart. Um, we've got bloody Harley Graham. She can go do something with
Yeah,
LFI. There's tons of ways you could go
yeah, for
about that
sure.
and revive the scraps.
Yeah,
Not of the women, but of the men. I'm thinking of specifically, like I don't know, bloody Johnny TV or whatever he's called these days, with Tyre and get another lad on board. I don't know, but
Mm. That would be
it's
fun.
just like
That would be
that would
fun.
be
Something
fun.
different.
That would be fun, and also give some of like the lower card women something to do. At the same time, I'm not clamoring for it though. That's like last
Mm.
ditch resort. Like, in my opinion, right? The belt should be created for the roster, which is what that belt was created for. You shouldn't create the belt out of thin air and then be like, oh shit, we need people from the roster. Like
Mm.
that. Why did you create it? I feel
Yeah.
like though he's scared to get rid of it though, because he's like, what if I want it one day? What if I want it?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's just like it's sort of like a convenient thing to have if it fits in a story, rather than like thinking long term. Okay, what does this belt mean? Who's gonna fight for it? So yeah, I think you're right. Love the idea of intergender stuff. Get that. I'm on board. Get that going.
So Shibata picked up the win. And yeah, nice. I mean, he's got a match against Ricochet this Saturday on Collision, so fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. This like for a squash match was quite nice. I mean, all three of the ops got a chance to go, and it was quite equal. I especially think Hook looked really good in this, and then yeah, it was nice for Shibata to get the pin.
Yeah. Ricochet had a little promo. His quest for gold continues, which makes perfect sense for his character all along throughout the Swerve thing. It wasn't personal to Swerve. He just wants gold. He just wants recognition. That's what drives him. So yeah, of course, it would make sense, and that's why he's kind of got the strongest storyline and the strongest aura sort of going into this. So that's why you'd suspect him to win.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Uh, Street Fight rematch has been booked. Cope versus Mox next week. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, "This is a car crash." Why are we doing this? Like, but then I thought this is the best case scenario because Mox is going to win over Cope, probably by interference of Christian. Christian and Cope can fuck off and go and do their own thing. So that wraps it up for Dynasty. So therefore, we don't have to do the rematch at Dynasty, and we wrap it up before. So I was like, do you know what? That's quite decent, that actually. I'll give it to you. So yeah,
Yes, you are right. But on paper, this is just like who whose idea was this? Like, what a bad reception this match has, and then suddenly it's like rematch, baby. Aren't you all
but they
so
have to do
excited?
it. Like
Yeah.
for the long term, they have to do it. It doesn't like when you just look at it, it fills you with dread. Like, oh god, I'm gonna have to sit through it again. But then I realize this is probably the last time I'm gonna have to sit through it.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, it just makes you think, like, why did we have to go through it on Sunday? Why couldn't you just end it then? But
I agree.
it's like, and Cup. on this episode being like, I didn't lose that match, I deserve a rematch. It's like, oh my God. Oh, yeah, but also, it wasn't like he was cheated out of the win, really. He was right there when Christian tapped out. He was right there. He could have stopped it or something, but he didn't. So to me, that's as good as losing.
You
And
getting
he's
told.
and he's playing this card of I didn't lose. It's like, but you did. You
He
did
did.
actually.
And he's not a heel, so he shouldn't be pandering about.
Yeah.
He should be like, the babyface thing would be like, do you know what? I just wasn't the bigger man. That's the face thing to say, is like, do you know what? I just got taken by surprise, but I'm going to fight for vengeance. Not whine about it like a bloody
Yes.
heel and be like, oh, it's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. Fight for vengeance. Go after Christian straight away.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused why it's played out this way.
We're all confused. If you aren't confused, you're not watching. Then we had Swerve talking about Dynasty Cups. Again, said he didn't lose, so there's a chance he will face him. And even if not, he'll be coming for him first.
Oh, yeah.
They had a little a fist bump, show of respect, and that was that.
Yeah, they're very much playing up this thing of it could be Cub, or it could be Mox, or it could be someone else. Like, oh, I can't be bothered. There's so many people who it could be. There's so many people in this world championship picture, and yet it still feels really weak. That's some achievement. So many
Oh.
people, and it feels like they're saying so much and saying so little at the same time. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm being very negative. I'm sorry.
No, you're being right. You're saying right. Mox did a little promo. He buried Christian straight away, which was like, Jesus Christ! Do you not think like the kicking a man while he's down? He don't need that. But then he put over Copeland after as well. So he's like, you know what, Copeland? I really underestimated him. And says he won't make the same mistake twice.
I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. Words fail me at this point.
It's just funny to me now, though. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even beefing on it or anything. I'm just, when something is so bad that it's just funny.
Yeah.
It's just comical.
Yeah, you know what? At least it's entertaining.
And I'm prepared for that street fight to be bad next week as well. Like, Mox is really good in a street fight, to be fair. But I feel like it is going to be very WWE-esque. Very... I mean, but at the same time, like, I don't know if I do want it to be super violent because, like, Cub is old man and I don't want to see him die.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least, like you say, Mox is good in these types of matches. He's got a stipulation to at least do something exciting, you'd hope.
So then we got onto the double payback match of Hologram with his beef with Juristico and Hobbs, who's been taken down. Obviously got booted out of the Callis family and his heat with the murder machines. I always want to call them the murder hawks for some reason.
Yeah, same.
I don't know why we'll call them. Were they ever called the murder hawks?
Well, that's what they call Lance. That's like his name, so it's like
that's why
machine. They've like merged the two together. So yeah, you've not just pulled it out of nowhere, just like a random bird. Murder pigeons. That would be better.
I don't like Cage or Archer, but I will say they're easier to tolerate when they're set. Yeah, no, there is a clip. That's the comma. But yeah, you could have put a full stop there. I don't like Cage or Archer, but I think they are easier to tolerate separately. Like in this match, it's a lot more easier to kind of tolerate it when there's not just two of them doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Was some cool moments. The tope to the suplex to Hologram, Maltos getting his licks in, and Harley Graham doing a little sexy dance, which is so funny because he just did a bamboozle emote and he just walked. He was just like, and they just walked off. It was so bloody daft.
Yeah, it was daft. That's the perfect word to describe it. Just daft.
I loved it, but I did love it.
Yeah, I think a lot of things on this episode did actually genuinely make me laugh. That's quite a nice thing. especially when like AEW can be quite dark sometimes. Very emotionally taxing at least. So it's nice just to
Yeah,
laugh.
this episode one was it? It was a nice little break, really.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought it was cool to see some teamwork, hologram using Hobbs's chest for
Yeah,
momentum,
that was cool.
which is cool because you know these guys don't work together, and it's an interesting matchup when you think about it. Because you've got one luchador each side, and you've got one big man, muscly brawler guy. But I don't understand though, because why is Will Hobbs to me just so much more like appealing, and I'm excited to watch him than Brian Cage? But like they're the same build, same wrestling style.
That's a good question. And I guess Will Hobbs has had more of a character arc, like he's been in the Callis family and then broke free and now he's trying to make his own way. What's the other guy done? I don't know. Been trapped in a cage with all his rage. I don't know. Nothing.
Right, we had the springboard to the spine buster. Hobbs picked up the victory on Dualistica. Davis and Arch come down and have a little yap. And that was that, really.
Mm.
But it was,
Yeah.
I did quite enjoy the match. I can't lie.
Yeah,
Had
it was
fun.
fun. It was like entertaining. There was no stakes to it. Yeah. Oh, I just remembered as well. I really liked the spot where, well, I'm not sure if it was supposed to happen, where Hologram like did a suicide dive and Cage like he over-egged it a bit and
Yeah, the
nearly went flying,
suplex.
but like he played it off like he caught him and did a suplex on purpose. I
But
feel
it
like
looked like he just defied gravity. Like
yeah,
it was so bizarre. Like he was in air for like 3 seconds,
yeah,
getting into position for the suplex. Like he'd slowed down time. It was the weirdest thing.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, I don't think it went. I don't know if it was. I can't tell if it was like an improvisation from Brian Cage, like, oh, this has not gone to plan. I'll just make it look like I meant to suplex him, or if it wasn't, it just like I don't know, he just flew a little bit too far. But either way, it looked really cool and really painful.
I suppose the stakes are like kind of the payback though. Like, oh, the faces got the payback.
Yeah,
I suppose. Then we had Alicia. You know what? I always forget how to say this woman's name. Like, is it Alicia? Is it Alicia? Is it Alicia? I don't know why though.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it out loud, so I wouldn't know. I read it as
Alicia,
Alicia.
Alicia,
I think
Alicia.
of it.
That's right. That's right.
I think of
Alicia.
Alicia Fox.
Alicia.
Spelt the same, I believe. So
But it's nice to see her. Nice to see her. I can't remember when we seen her on Dynamite. We also had Lexi as well, so you know, cool to have
few different people.
a different assortment. The Hurt Syndicate, they're off out to party. They're taking a week off. They're off.
Yeah.
They're hitting up the gym. MVP's got them again. After party vibes.
Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. They deserve a rest.
Valid. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've said this on the podcast before, but there's because I've thought it every single week, and I can't remember if I've said it. So apologies if I'm repeating myself. But like, how good do the Hurt Syndicate look with those belts? Like those belts were made for them. They just look like a picture. It's perfect. And I realised in this episode as well, like how beautiful AEW's belts are. Like those tag belts, stunning. And then immediately after this, Tony Storm with the women's championship belt. And just there's something about the lighting. They just look beautiful. They've got like a retro-ish thing about them that I really like. They're just so nice to look at.
I mean, other than like the TNT and the TBS, which are a bit garish, they are like very detailed, vintage. The color schemes are nice. It's not just AEW.
Yeah. I guess that's why I'm not as keen. I mean, I don't dislike it, but I'm not as keen on the World Championship belt because that's very like bold in your face and bright gold, whereas the other ones are more like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. They're just much nicer. They're a bit more subtle.
Understated.
Understated,
Yeah,
that's
so.
it. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're actually worth something.
Yeah. Yeah, and they look
Everything
like,
looks pretty good though. Like the cups and the diamond Dynamite ring, like everything looks really well made. But I don't know though, because when he got his ring stolen in London, apparently it was like plated with real gold.
Wow. So that he's not skimping out.
He didn't. He didn't. Tony Storm came out. She had some great lines. This champ is
Yeah.
still the champ. Has stayed in my head since I saw it last night because I saw it on Instagram, the little reels that they put out, and that just stuck with me. Um, yeah, she was on fire. Like I
Yeah.
said, had lots of great little singers. Wraps up the promo, and Megan Bayne comes down and takes her out, which we'll get on to Megan Bayne a bit later as well.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's just not what I want to see coming out from Tony Storm. I want to see more people, more storylines. I want to see people that have been at the top for a while and they're ready to enter the title scene. And I just
People who have a bit more of a
character.
yeah, and also like a valid stake to claim for the championship, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is. This was OP, but what happened on later on is probably the one thing that really pissed me off because I was just like, why? Why is this person being like booked? Like, why is this the most protected woman in the industry? I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get it. And honestly, it's making me not like her. It makes me not like her. It does the opposite to me. Because I am trained by WWE, right? I had to sit through the 2010s and late 2010s especially, where I got shit shuffled down my bloody throat, okay?
Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, John Cena.
Exactly. So, like, I've kind of got a bit of trauma from that, a bit of aversion. So, if you tell me I have to like something, it's really going to get my back up. Let me like it organically.
Yeah, someone who's just, like you said, OP, just completely overpowered.
For no reason.
Yeah, at this point, I was like, well, it's a bit lazy just to have her attack her. I mean, I really wanted Tony just to have her moment, but I get it, like, in kayfabe, if you wanted to get a championship, you'd pick your moment to have the most impact. I get that. It just felt a little bit lazy, like, okay, she's just gonna blindside her on a promo. It's very simple. It's very straightforward way of starting a feud. Fine. But I was like, okay, someone new in the title scene. Fine, I can deal with it. But this was before everything that happened later on, which we'll get to later.
I mean, if Monet wants to be the belt collector, though, she should surely go for like the other women's title as well. Because I'd be really excited to see those two go one-on-one, and that'd be like really high stakes. And she don't even have to win it. Like Tony could keep the belt and stuff. I'm not saying unify it or anything like that. But it's just,
Yeah.
We'll get onto it a bit later though. So
I agree with you, and also just wanted to add that I thought they were going that route because Tony did sort of call out Monet when she said, "Oh, we've got every type of champion here in AEW."
yeah.
Or the other world champions keeping it in a bloody briefcase, which was funny. And then we also have belt collectors, and she really let that moment breathe. And I was like, oh, I like that. Like she took a pause and was like, look, like that was felt like it meant something. So maybe in the future.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, you're not going to go into like also the hot feud amped up to level 3 when you've just come out of that with Mariah May. I totally appreciate and understand that, but
Yeah.
I just think it's a bit of a slap in the face to the women that have been like slaving away for a while, waiting for this opportunity, and then someone just struts in. And yeah, I know she's got like rep from like being a Joshi, and she's a great wrestler. She's got a great look. I like her, but I just think it's what are you trying to achieve from that? Like, it's such Tony booking of like getting someone new, spamming him. It's like he gets a new toy and it's all he wants to play with, and it's just like, oh,
I mean,
frustrates me.
oh, I know. But I was going to say, wouldn't it make more sense for her to go for Mercedes because it's like the lower championship, like to build up
Yeah, why
the
has she
main
gone
event scene.
right to the top?
Yeah, but then I
It's
guess
mental.
we're going the Billy Starks route with that one instead. So I guess that's why.
Billy Starks, then Athena.
Hell
Oh,
yeah,
that's juicy. You
that
know,
is
it's
cool.
all right, guys. We're still eating. We're still eating.
Yeah, there's still hope. Athena will save us all.
So next up, we had the Beast Mortos in his bracket against the wild card, who was uh, Speedball Mike Bailey. There's been a few rumblings about him online. People have theorized. So yeah, you know when you just look at someone though and you're like, I really liked Mike Bailey, right? I really did like Mike Bailey, but my first impression is like you just look at someone, you're like, God, you look like you wrestle on TNA.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
I'm
the
pretty
name
sure.
Speedball Mike Bailey, I'm just like, God, you're a TNA star.
I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I do think he wrestled in TNA for a while.
Yeah, he had a fair long
Yeah,
stint.
yeah, I thought
But that's
so.
what I mean. You just look at him though and you think TNA.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I remember like years and years ago I watching like some PWG and he was really big there and thinking, wow, he's amazing. And then he sort of just fell off my radar for a very long time. Um and but he's not he's still wrestling the same way, still very cool, like it's still as the name suggests, like fast paced, like high flying kind of martial arts inspired as well. So yeah, it was cool. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I guess I'm sort of living under a rock, not that present on wrestling social media these days, so I didn't see any of the rumors or anything. So it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I'm not dunking. I just mean like the name and the look
Yeah, that I
specifically.
think you're
Nothing to
right.
do with the wrestling style or anything. It just certain people you just look at and you think,
Yeah,
yeah,
energy.
this was awesome. This was athletic. It was hard hitting. It was just amazing, and especially if like you don't like, I was like, oh, Mike Bailey. I've heard rumblings. I've seen clips and stuff, but I'm. You know, I'm not on the Mike Bailey hype train. I want like, oh
Mm.
my God, Mike Bailey, like
Yeah,
losing my mind. But I'm a fan. I'm a
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
After this episode, yeah,
I mean
he's a great guy. Let him win the whole thing and let's have him against Kenny Omega. Why not? Fuck it.
gosh,
He's good.
that is high praise. I mean, yeah, that says a lot, like considering, you seen one match and you have that reaction. Yeah, that speaks for itself.
The massive press slam off the top of the row to Bailey looked really cool as well. I don't know if it was just the camera angle, but Mans looked like he was like going to the ceiling. I was like, what's going on here? It was looking crazy. And as I said, the strikes, obviously he's got that. I've forgotten. Was it? He's a black belt in something. Was it taekwondo?
I don't know. I'm afraid I do not know.
Muay Thai?
One of them.
Karate? I don't know. He's doing something, bless him. But it was really, and obviously Morse. He's just always like hard hitting. His
Yeah,
chops are insane. So it was really cool, like that they were both matching each other's energy. It was a very stiff match, but also high flying and exciting. And the crowd were really, really into this as well. We had some cool combinations to close out the match. So on Mortos' side, did the headbutt, the backbreaker, the lariat, and Mike Bailey was able to pick up the win with the knee drop and the crescent kick for the win. So yeah, it was really enjoyable, and obviously he's progressing, which is quite bold, isn't it? Really, when you think about it, like that they take that chance on him. But it's good that they did because the crowd are behind him. He's exciting to
yeah,
watch, and it's just one of those where you're like, oh, I'd love to see him go. Like, I've only watched this match, but I'm like, I'd love to see him go against so many people on the roster. Like, what would he be like against Osprey? What would he be like against Kenny? What would he be like against this person? And yeah, as I say, and JR later when he came down for the main event, he's one of the first things he said was giving praise to Mike Bailey. So
yeah.
it was a really, really impressive star building performance. And that, it's like, you know what? Not that I want Mike Bailey to go into the world title scene. God knows I don't need anyone else in the world title scene. But it's like, I feel like just from that performance, he's earned it. But Megan Bayne, on the flip side, I just, did she have that star making of a match in comparison to him? I don't think so. But that's someone who is, yeah, keep him coming, keep booking him, because he will continue to get over.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a really good point that I wanted to make as well. The fans were so behind him. Like were clearly fans like in the live audience who had seen him before and were big fans because, they were doing the chants. Well, yeah, I think so, because they were doing like chants that you wouldn't do if you didn't know him. If that makes sense, like they're going. I don't want to do it because I can't remember what it was now, but they were going speedball, whoop whoop. It's like you don't get his nickname.
I don't know why you're really getting me tonight. You're really tickling me tonight.
Well, yeah.
It's the dry delivery. It's just everything.
I was going to try and do it, and I was like, I can't remember how it goes, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to say it. So yeah, like clearly they were behind him, and that it's got to be validating for Tony Khan, like, because I was really surprised that he won. I wasn't expecting him to win.
No.
How validating is that when, like, not only, you get the praise online from the fans who were like, oh, that was a great match, but everyone in attendance, clearly, he's over with them. I think big props as well to Martos, just because he was selling excellently in this match. He really did a good job to put him over. And, yeah, obviously it takes two to tango. So, overall, this was really good.
Yeah. Then we had a Christian Cage interview. This was tea. This was juicy, guys. After ages of me saying, God, can we get some plot? Can we get some progression? We got some. So it was nice as well because he said, I won't speak to you, Renee, because,
you're related to John Moxley. I love that. It's as if they're like brother and sister or something. You're related to John Moxley.
He demands his contract back as he specified for a 1v1. He also buried Bryce Remsburg, which is justifiable. And he was relegating his breathing, not passing out. So, yeah, fair enough. Give the man his contract back. But what was tea is Nick Wayne says he's making excuses. And he should have stuck to the plan. And Christian did not take kindness. He says he's sorry. Oh, he says he's sorry it's come to this, and he shoves Nick Wayne. Shayna steps in, and he was popping off. He was like, do you want to go back to the midnight shift at Waffle House? and then he was like, how many titles have you or your biological dead dad won? None. He's like, your dead dad's a loser. And then Kip Sabian's just like, it's not good, gang.
Oh, yeah, this was funny to me. I like Nick Wayne in this because he was like, well, you owe us all an explanation and an apology. I was like, yeah, a bit of spice from you. Love it. But then he shoved him and he sort of backed down and Mother Wayne sort of got in the way.
Yeah, it's his dad.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I'm not
this
saying...
is like the first time this is an abusive, narcissistic family.
You're right.
This is
saying they should come to blows.
In psychology, the narc family, you got the narc father figure. You've got the like dependent mother. You've got the golden child, which is Kip Sabian. You've got the middle child, which is forgotten about, which is Luchasaurus. Then you got the black sheep, which is Nick Wayne. It's like a psychology textbook diagram.
Well, can your psychology textbook please explain why Mother Wayne was like sort of willing to defend her son, but listen, I love her, but like she just showed no emotion on her face. I just needed her to give a little bit more. Like there was no
it's the
facial
Botox.
There was no facial expression.
What do you want to do? She's a MILF. She can't move. She was very upset. That's the most upset Shayna can look. Thank you very much.
The milfery is too high. She can't show any more emotion. Okay, fine. I just thought needed a bit more high high emotion in this segment because I was like, "Ooh, this is high
Well,
tensions," but she was
I
giving
think it's because
nothing.
they're not going all the way with it yet. It's just like them showing like
Oh
they're
yeah,
starting to
they're planting
revolt.
the
They're
seeds a
not going to
little.
go full out. I think, yeah, when it comes down to it, when he leaves, if like this is the performance we get, then yeah, it'll be a bit wooden. But I think this was just, I don't know. I think it's just because like we've had nothing. This was quite impactful for me because I
Mm.
was like, oh,
Yeah, no,
like this is
I
the
enjoyed
sign
it.
of dissension.
Yeah, it was nice to have something.
Yeah. So Lexi's trying to get a word with MJF, who is, you know what he reminded me of? Like The Sims. When the Sim gets really like upset and they need to talk themselves down in the mirror,
In the
that's what
mirror,
that was
yeah.
giving. Yeah. And then he
Give
smashed the
yourself
mirror.
a pep talk, I believe,
Yeah.
is the action.
Uh, and then he came out to cut a promo. He said he should have had the match won. You know, he's smarter than everyone, and it's not over between him and Hangman. And then what was really shocking and cool was obviously MVP had said he's got this tonight later on, earlier on, but I didn't expect anything else from him. But he came down and they hugged, the jovial of one another. They explained that they've got history together. When Max was 18, he volunteered to drive MVP for a documentary to ask him some questions. And it was really sweet in this moment because MVP is just kind of lamenting his respect. And I just love when, like, you see, like, Maxwell, like, not Max, you see the Maxwell, and he was just there, oh, you could just tell, like, how much it meant to him. It was so freaking cute. Um, But he says he's not happy with how he lost on Sunday and he's not happy with the way he's dealt with it. He's lost his edge. They don't fear him, but they do fear the Hurt Syndicate. He offers him a card, but obviously Max rejects it and says he doesn't need his or the audience's respect. He's been champion for 400 something odd days in the past. And MVP says focus on the word was and puts the card in his hands, and this time he does accept it. So this is super interesting.
Yeah, and like you said, didn't expect it at all. It was probably the last thing I thought was going to happen in this segment. I think it's interesting because we said on Sunday about the pay-per-view that Max was, I mean, yes, he was being a dick, but he wasn't cheating to win, right? And then I think that maybe played into this a little bit. MVP was like, "Nah, you're not being as clinical as you can be. Like, you can be better. I know you can be better." And I think that's maybe, yeah, because, MJF has always done it on his own. He's never had someone in his corner, so I can see why it'll be tempting for him to, apart from
Wardlow.
Wardlow, apart from that guy, forget about that. That was a long time ago. Like a mentor sort of figure.
Yeah, but he was leading Wardlow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like him being under someone else's wing. And right now he's really vulnerable. And when he gets
Yes,
vulnerable, people are
exactly.
able to intercept. Like Adam Cole was able to intercept him when he was vulnerable and feeling low about himself. And right now he is.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
he's had tag team partners, but like really someone in his corner, like who wants to help him succeed, like as a solo guy and like give him advice. Because I think he's always believed that he doesn't need that; he can do it himself. So I think that's a very interesting dynamic.
yeah, I think it'd be really fun to see how he would work in the Hurt Syndicate, and it's just something a bit different for his character. So
Because
I mean, I could totally see him just being like, no, screw this, I don't want this, and you thought I do things alone, and that would be fine, but it would definitely be interesting to see how he would react in this situation. And
yeah,
yeah.
because you would think that his ego would be too big for him to to do that, take advice from someone, be part of a wider team.
Yeah, so we had Max Caster coming out for one of his open challenges.
Oh my.
Takeshita came down, which was very comforting. The previous week it was Jay White, so it's like it's just a very, very comforting man, and he just annihilated him, which again was very comforting for me. It's like therapy.
Yeah, it was quite cathartic to watch.
Jericho with Bandido's mask,
Oh my God. Sorry.
crushing the mask.
This was certainly the low point of the show. Max Caster followed swiftly by Chris Jericho.
Then we got Willow versus Penelope Ford. This was just a middle of the road, nice match, pretty equal, no one getting a clear advantage. Willow wins with somewhat of a spear. She had like the bloody smile going on. It was like I say though, it's more the after of this match. So Penelope, she gets the chair. Stat comes down. She's trying to make amends still with Willow, so she takes her out. But Willow's kind of a bit like, what's going on here? But before she can react and we get it confirmed, whether she believes or doesn't. Statlander, Megan Brain comes down for the double clothesline. I'm not into this, I wrote. This was just bloody ridiculous. Why is this woman taking out everyone?
Yeah, I just
One
didn't...
bloody woman.
Exactly, I didn't understand it. I was like, well, who are you putting a target on? Tony Storm or these people? Why do you need to take out everyone in one episode? It just... Oh my god. I was just
It would make
confused.
sense to do that. Marina Shafir. It would have made a lot more sense for her to do that over the previous weeks. That, we wouldn't be complaining about one bloody woman, because that it would actually integrate her into the thing and it makes sense. But as you say, why? I know it's because obviously she had that match against Statlander and maybe she's putting everyone on notice, but it's like you say, it would make sense, right, if she attacked Stat and Willow, they have a match, she beats them, and then she's like, oh, I'm too good for the division, and then goes after Tony Storm. It's like a natural progression.
Yeah.
But this was just, it was way too much.
Yeah, it was just... Yeah, exactly that. It was just too much. There's... You can have too much of something. And especially when it's not really... She's not particularly established. And I know that they're trying to build her as like this really dangerous powerhouse hard hitter, but you don't have to have her taking out absolutely everyone to achieve that.
Yeah, it's like show don't tell. Like this is telling.
Exactly.
This is forcing us. Do it through matches. Do it through getting her over. Do it through really cool spots and the crowd being like, whoa, and natural progression. There really is just no rhyme or reason for this. It's just going a bit bloody mental.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, is she going to justify this? I do kind of want to know the reason. Although it's going to be something really boring, like, I want to put everyone on notice. You all need to watch out for me because I'm the most dangerous girl on the roster.
Bit cringe, that, love. Renee with money. She's had a kicked in throat. Bless her. She asked for Billy Starks to join them. Asked what she's learned. She's like making a little petty dig about throat. She's like, I won't be getting my throat kicked in. Trying to lighten the mood. Says they have a lot in common. And essentially asks for a championship match next week. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, are we going to develop this into something further? Have it at one of the pay-per-views? Okay, fine. Or is it just going to be a one-off?
I think because Athena's going to be the pay-per-view.
Ah, right, okay.
That's the progression I think we're going down.
Yeah. At Dynasty.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know, though, because, like, Athena, she's kind of like a mythical being. Like, you speak her name, is she real? Is she not real? Is she coming? Is she not coming? I don't want to jinx it, but you would think, wouldn't you? It's a natural progression.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense, but things don't always make sense in wrestling, so don't hold your breath.
Then we had Ospreay with Shivani. This was a long bit at the start. He says he lied about doing out daft on the cage to his missus. He did. Yada, yada, yada. He's going to enter the Owen Hart tournament to lift the gold. It was a long bit to get to that.
That is a perfectly succinct way of putting it. I like it.
Yeah, Jay White, he says, Ospreay, he's been protected from me. What would happen if we went one-on-one? Did he hit my favourite, though? Did I hit Cope on purpose? And then he asked the city, and obviously they were waiting for him to say no, and then everyone said yes. And Renee was like, and then he was like, the answer is no. It's like...
He was like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think I hit Cope on purpose? Like these two baby faces, the reaction meant to be, no, there's no way you do that, and everyone was like, yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Um, then we had Hangman. He's asked what's next, but MJF bumps into him.
Oh
This
my
was
God.
right. This was interesting. He says, you know, you tried to light me on fire, but you didn't actually do it, so I don't believe it. And Max says people are going to get tired of Hangman trying to win while Max wins continuously. So my first point was I liked how there's lots of focus on the title throughout this episode. I like how everyone's gunning for it. Everyone's making it seem like a big deal after that main event kind of ran it into the ground. But also, I thought it would be MJF gassing Hangman and Hangman sort of losing his mind. But I realise it's actually the opposite, and that's totally subverted my expectations because it's actually Hangman calling Max's bluff, and especially then with the Hurt Syndicate stuff that happened earlier. I'm like, we're actually going to fully watch the dissension of Max. We're going to watch Max get back in touch with his edgy side and start doing some really fucked up shit again. And yeah, Hangman's only going to have himself blamed because he is literally baiting him out with this.
And it
But
might
I thought it would be the opposite.
yeah, and it could be another instance where Hangman's like, "Oh, I regretted doing that. That was a mistake. I've done something bad again. Oops." But yeah, I really like this, and I love how it was sort of framed like they were just passing backstage, and it just happened sort of naturally, and yeah, Hangman just he's just perfect. I can't. There's nothing else for me to say that I've not said many times on other episodes on this podcast. Just how great he is at promos and acting and stuff. Oh, and MJF telling him that he smelled like rotten ass really made me laugh for some reason.
It was just so nonchalant.
The delivery of the line was so hilarious.
Yeah, it was like the same thing with like the Waffle House thing, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
just people. Everything sounded so personal.
Yes, it did.
Shooting. So then we're gonna get on to the main event, which was Orange Cassidy versus Hechicero. And whoever wins this will go on to fight Mike Bailey. This was a very, very short match. It had around 10 minutes, maybe less than 10 minutes. Had some cool spots. Orange Cassidy walking the ropes. I really
Yeah, I like
enjoyed
that.
Cassidy's selling because Hechicero is a technical wrestler. He's targeting specific body parts, and
Yeah,
Cassidy really made sure that got over by his knee giving out with the kip up. And the concluding little minute or 2 minutes was really interesting with like the roll ups and the reversals, and again with that tournament wrestling that we've praised time and time again of it being unpredictable, but it was the mousetrap for the win. Cassidy just able to just scrimp by as he often does, and Mike Bailey came out to sort of confront him at the end, and yeah, that was that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just putting my laptop on charge. What were your thoughts?
yeah. I guess I'm doing the podcast solo now, guys. Bye, Estelle. It's just me from now on. Oh, hello.
Hello.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I agree with everything you said about this match. I liked how, yeah, Orange was selling like a lot of different body parts. You don't often get that in wrestling. Often the psychology is you pick a body part and you sell that for the whole match. But like you said, Hechicero was basically just picking him apart and going for everything. So that made it difficult for Orange to adapt. But he did adapt, and I loved the way he won with the like unique sort of roll up. And I know he wins with roll ups quite a lot, but it was different. He had to change it up. Yeah, like I said, he had to adapt. And I thought he was just so good at selling. Like I've already said, I liked the clash of the two styles. And yeah, I think this cemented Orange Cassidy as all reliable. Basically, he's
all reliable.
he is. He's the one who you can stick on Dynamite in the main event basically
I
any
wonder
at
how
any
many events
time.
he's been in.
Yeah,
I feel
like
like
a lot.
he's in quite a lot because, like you say, he's just super reliable.
I mean, shouldn't he be the one to dethrone Moxley at this point?
I mean, he tried.
Well, can we run it back? Can he try again? Because
I would love to see him be world champion one day.
yeah, me too. I guess that's what I'm meaning. It's just one day he deserves that, definitely.
Yeah. So for me, this episode, I really enjoyed this episode. Running it back, I feel like there's probably some actual low points that I didn't really feel while watching it. Like they did bother me, but like I didn't realize they were bothering me that much. So I started talking about it.
Yeah.
Such is the way with this. But I really liked this episode because I felt like the wrestling, like I said, it was fun. It was light-hearted. There wasn't run-ins. There wasn't, every finish was clean. We had focus. It was a fresh slate. People were either wanting the international title or the world title. And as I say, it was a clean slate. But at the same time, there was lots of story beats. But the story beats were in the background. So they were in like the segments or the promos.
Yeah.
And the matches gave them time to breathe.
That's so true.
But it's difficult because like nothing massive really happened. But I think for what this episode was and for what it was supposed to be, I thought it was really well done and I just really enjoyed it. But I don't know, because I feel like I could have watched this on another day and been like, I can't be arsed for this. So I don't know if it's just because I'm in a forgiving mood today. I don't know.
I think the placement of it is important, like timing. Because if you had this 2 weeks ago, say, I mean, how annoyed would we have been? It's like,
Yeah, you'd be pissed.
You got so many big feuds to build up for this pay-per-view and this is what you give us. But having had a big payoff of a lot of big feuds just 4 days ago, or whatever, I can't do maths. You want that, like we've already said, the time to breathe and relax, decompress from all of that and start fresh. So, yeah, I think timing is very important with that. So I don't know where I land with this in terms of like a score. I mean, I don't know. I'm leaning at like a 7.5.
I was thinking more like an 8.5 or an 8. But I guess we can meet in the middle for an 8.
Yeah, I can do an 8. I feel like, like you said, I had fun watching it, which I guess is the main thing, isn't it? So I can deal with an 8. There's nothing truly very outstanding to bump it up higher for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
We'll settle on an 8. Well, for reference, Revolution got an 8.25, so we're 0.25 down from.
Which just feels so wrong because it was so good, but then that main event tanked it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting a rematch of the main event next week, so look forward to that. But I guess that's everything for this week. So thank you all so much for listening. We really do appreciate all the support and all the comments and things. Let us know like your opinions if you'd agree or disagree with anything we said. We do read every comment and we're really interested to know. And do follow or subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like, share with your friends if you want. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night, bad.
I wish you died in the womb!